Hey everyone, Rob from the ProWresBlog here at www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Today we got a review of WWF Primetime Wrestling from March 2nd, 1987. Wrestlemania III is just a few weeks away, and the focus and the heat is coming up. This is kind of the focus on the show, and it involves a lot of the storylines. Another thing that you should probably keep in mind for this episode is that Danny Davis is really a big talking point. He recently got suspended for life by Jack Tunney, plus 10 years. So that's kind of a lot what they're going to be focusing on here. He just cost the British Bulldogs the tag titles to the Hart Foundation, and I think he was involved in Tito losing the Intercontinental title to Randy Savage. So just keep that in mind because they'll probably be referenced a couple times here. Gorilla talked about his visit to Camp Andre and wherever in the secret location, wherever that was. He said Andre's looking real big and real bad and the best he's ever seen him. The first matchup was Sika versus Moondog Spot. As you would expect, these two were heels. So how's it going to work? It didn't. It really didn't. They kind of just had a really boring match without going anywhere until near the end when Spot finally powered up and worked as a babyface, which it wasn't too bad. Spot was in pretty good shape here, and he's always a decent face. If you check later on in my USWA reviews from 1993, he does a really good job as a face. So you know. I like Spot, but Sika was really just boring. He offered totally nothing. Next up, we had our Ron Bass versus Special Delivery Jones. This wasn't too bad actually. Um, you know, both were pretty decent. I really hate Ron Bass, so I wasn't expecting much here, but this was fine. The big story here was Ron Bass basically copying Blackjack Mulligan. They were kind of pushing the Blackjack Mulligan versus Ron Bass feud. So they had Bass do Mulligan's flying elbow. And, it wasn't great, but it was okay. I also want to mention that Sika did get the win over Moondog Spot earlier. I forgot to mention that with the Samoan drop. And Ron Bass here won with the flying elbow, a la Blackjack Mulligan. Heenan had a funny line. He said, Mulligan's got a saying, it will take a good man to beat him, but it won't take him long. Then Gorilla said, that's not one of his sayings. Gorilla brought up that when he was at the training session with Andre, he noticed some flaws in his game, and he wouldn't tell Heenan what it was. And Heenan said that he's a businessman. He doesn't take care of the training. So he didn't know, but he really wanted to know. They showed the WrestleMania III contract signing. Nothing really to it, just Heenan mostly ripping on Hulk. Jack Tunney referred to Andre as Mr. Rusimov. And, they just exchanged some words. Andre talked a little in French, and he said he'd do his talking in the ring. The other big point here, which will come along a little bit later, Heenan wanted a new belt made. Heenan said this, the belt they have now is made for Hulk Hogan, so it doesn't fit Andre the Giant. It was made for somebody smaller. The new belt is on the way. We got a WrestleMania report. It was mostly just some different stuff with celebrities. They showed Alice Cooper, and they showed Bobby the Brain letting Bob Uecker try on his jacket. We also had Jesse and Mary Hart kind of flirting, so there was that. Next up, we had Corporal Kirchner versus Johnny K9. This was really bad. It was just an awful match. There was nothing exciting about it at all. It dragged on forever, and they blew stuff. What was kind of funny here was that for a little bit, Heenan and Monsoon were switching places. Heenan was trying to kind of pimp Johnny K9, and Gorilla, on the other hand, was ripping him down at every try. Corporal Kirchner ended up winning this one with a Samoan drop, which he called the parachute drop. It wasn't as good as Sika's from earlier. The crowd liked Kirchner, but he offered really nothing, and K9 was a lot worse. He was just clumsy, and he looked like a total dork. Like I said, the match went on forever, and that didn't help things. And after the match, Heenan said, I believe K9 was ahead on points. Next up, we had the Dream Team and Adrian Adonis versus the Can-Am Connection and Lonnie Poffo. Poffo had a poem. It was, Jimmy Hart and Adrian are planning a surprise with a pair of scissors and a sleeper hold. If Piper leaves for Hollywood with no hair on his head, they figure his career is going to fold. They have conjured up a scheme to ruin his happy day and make it hard to get an acting job. I sure hope his plans aren't thwarted March the 29th, because Adonis is a fat, disgusting slob. They did some quick brawling here, and Martel took a really nasty clothesline in the corner. He just really got hung up. He then took a pretty awkward bump off of it. Then they had a neat bump, which I haven't seen in a while. I think Martel threw Adonis into Valentine, and Valentine ended up backdropping him over the top rope. The heels took control a little bit more, and then they had one of the dumbest angles I think I've ever seen. Adrian Adonis got some scissors from Jimmy Hart, and he thought he had, I think, Martel in the corner, and he just started cutting. And they tried to play it as he accidentally cut Martel. He thought he was cutting Martel, but in the meantime, Brutus Beefcake got in. So Martel's head was there, and then Beefcake's got in somehow, and Adonis started cutting. Now the problem with this is it's really stupid because he was looking at Beefcake because you're not gonna cut, you're not gonna use scissors to cut when you're not looking. That's like a great way to cut something off. So he was basically looking at Beefcake, and they were trying to play that this was totally accidental, and he had no idea what he was doing. So it was really dumb because you could just see him looking, and I can't believe they even tried to sell that. It made no sense and ended up being a really stupid ending. And Martel ended up getting the roll up on Beefcake after the haircut. And the haircut was kind of foreshadowed to Beefcake's face turn and I guess eventually his barber gimmick in a way. Um, this was nonsensical and it was a shame because it was a decent match up to that point. Monsoon said, Adrian Adonis is indeed a dummy. A big dummy. Next up, we had King Kong Bundy versus Billy Jack Haynes. Bobby had this to say: Billy Jerk Haynes he's got a temper. Billy Jerk, and he gets mad. Gorilla said, not very often does he lose his cool. And Bobby said, only when he looks in the mirror and sees what he paid for that ridiculous hat. I like that line. So we had King Kong Bundy and Billy Jack here. They had a funny sign that was misspelled. It said King Kong Big Butt. The butt had one T on it. The match was really super short. Bundy got the quick advantage, and then Billy Jack came in with full Nelson. Bobby jumped in, and then Hercules came in, and they got the 2-on-1, or I guess the 3-on-1 on Billy Jack. He got out of there quick enough though, so it wasn't too bad of a beating. Heenan kind of threatened Jack Tunney. He said, you suspend me, you don't have a champion to do business with. So that kind of explains why Heenan was kind of getting away with doing this, because he did that the week before with Harley Race and Billy Jack too. Next up, we had Pedro Morales versus Paul Orndorff. Paul Orndorff came out and to Hulk's music, the real American music. Hulk actually had, his real American theme here, or excuse me, Orndorff had Hulk's real American theme here. If you remember last week, Hulk came out to a different theme, so I'm guessing that match was really dated when they aired. The match was super short here. Paul basically got the advantage early and stomped Pedro and punched him and stuff. Just really kind of boring stuff. And then Paul ended up getting his foot on the rope and taking a quick pin. Nothing to this at all, pretty much a waste. We then came to our main event for the evening. It was a non-title match with the Hart Foundation versus the Killer Bees. The Hart Foundation had just won the titles, but this match was originally scheduled as a non-title match. So, no titles were on the line. The Hart Foundation mocked it early, saying the Bees weren't worthy of a shot. The Hart Foundation mostly controlled things here. They took the advantage early and double teamed the Bees in the corner, and then they worked like a very high camel clutch. And Brett was working a really good one where he put his legs over top the shoulders of Blair. So that's a really brutal looking move. And Blair eventually powered up and had Brett in the electric chair position and brought him down. Blair went out, and then Brunzell went out with him, and they both put their heads together and started looking under the ring. And then they put on their Killer Bee masks to do mass confusion. They confused the Hart Foundation and the Wrath, although Gorilla was able to tell who was who due to Brunzell's dropkick. And then right after that, they just kind of went to the finish. One of them went off the top on Brett and did a sunset flip off the top to get the win. It was a pretty short match. It was fine, nothing special, nothing great, nothing too bad. Just mostly punches, a little bit of work and holds here, and that was it. And then we went to the end of the show with, just some more banter between Gorilla and Bobby. And that was pretty much about it. All right, so overall thoughts, not really a good show. The opener with Sika and Spot wasn't good at all. Kirchner versus Johnny K9 was probably really bad. Maybe not as bad as the week before with Terry Gibbs and Luis Rivera, but that wasn't good. And the Adrian Adonis angle was just completely stupid, unbelievable, and awful. I unfortunately can't really recommend this one. There was nothing here for me. There wasn't anything real entertaining. It was just not a good episode with a lot of bad matches. And the best part is about these primetime shows is that they're all taped. So, if something was bad, they could have just not aired it, but instead they air it anyway, and even when it's awful. So, they purposely put together a crappy show, and it showed because it was a crappy show. So, I don't recommend this one. If you'd like to see the pictures and gifs from this review and more quotes as well, check out www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Thank you very much.